Hey everyone, I'm Roger Palomino with Houston Media Source. We're here at the AMC Theater in Dunville in the city of Houston. We're about to check out the 49th Annual Worldfest International Film Festival celebrating diversity in film. We're about to speak to some directors and producers who have some brilliant film and their take on this wonderful art form. So let's check out what they have to say. And we're here at Worldfest 2016 at the Doubletree here at the Greenway Plaza with director from Canada who's shot 23 features and 27 series, David Winning.
Hi, how are you? How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm glad to be back in Houston. I've been here, gosh, how many times have I been here? I started coming here in '92 was the first year I was here. And I love Hunter and Kathleen. I think they put on a great show. I think they're incredibly gracious hosts. And I think they do so much for the film community and, young filmmakers starting up. And I just like to, they supported my movies so much in the 90s that I like to give back and try to come back as often as I can. And they developed this series of seminars, and I've been lucky enough to moderate the finale one, which is the directors all getting together and trying to give out their words of wisdom. So it's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And just reading your biography was very interesting. I read a quote saying that you're a prolific and proven director with feature films and television in all genres.
It means that I'm really old and that I've been around a long time. And if you live long enough, you get a long credits. So yeah, I've been lucky.
Yeah, and you've been able to perfect your craft. And you started at 18, actually. You got a grant to make your first 16-millimeter drama. And then at 27 years old, you had the opportunity to direct Friday the 13th series, just to name a few.
I was directing this series, Friday the 13th. You don't probably remember that. Oh, you do remember it. Of course you do. He likes the series. It's one of his favorites.
Louise Roby and John D. LeMay.
Yep. I did it's shot in Toronto in 89, 90. And it wasn't really connected to the Friday the 13th movie series.
And I also read that M. Night Shyamalan cited your episode of Nickelodeon's Are You Afraid of the Dark as an inspiration for The Sixth Sense. Tell us about that.
Well, I also did Nickelodeon's series Afraid of the Dark, which was amazing. I had a lot of fun doing that. And Afraid of the Dark, which a lot of people said scared them a lot when they were kids, I guess. It was a very popular series on Nickelodeon. And M. Night Shyamalan saw one of the episodes we did. And I guess 4 or 5 years later, it kind of based The Sixth Sense on one of the episodes. It was called Tale of the Dream Girl. I didn't write it, I directed it. But I was kind of proud of that because I really liked The Sixth Sense. I thought it was a great movie. Yeah. And I remember seeing it in the theater and thinking, why does this seem so familiar? Because it was so much like my dark episode. So that's a fun connection to have with it.
Yeah, and with this panel, it was very interesting because you talked about just the different experiences that you go through as an artist and director. What has been your inspiration throughout your career?
Well, I'm a big movie fan. I think one of the last questions I asked the panel was, what's their favorite movie? Because I think if you're not inspired by movies, you shouldn't be in the movie business. And so it's an important question. And I'm still excited by movies, and I'm thrilled by fine craftsmanship. And I've kind of patterned my career after, whether I'm doing romantic comedies or kid shows or sci-fi movies, I've kind of done, if you live long enough, you kind of do all the genres. So I've done a bit of everything, and I just like the craftsmanship in films. I think there's an artistry and a craftsmanship you're always trying to perfect. So no matter what it is, you're always trying to make it. It's all about entertainment, really. So yeah.
Absolutely. So with all the directing you've done in your career, if you could direct your ideal genre or film, what would it be?
Probably thrillers. I got into the movie business because of, you remember Marathon Man, Dustin Hoffman movie? Yeah. That really had an effect on me. I came out, and I think I was like 15 when it came out. I was way too young to see it, of course. But I thought thrillers, wow, it's the genre that I probably done the least, but like the most. I've done romantic comedies, and I've done kid shows, and sci-fi, and monster movies, and they all have elements of the thriller in them. But I think that's really where my love lies. That's really what I'd like to try to get back into doing. So.
And that's a movie that got everyone afraid of the dentist and the phrase, "Is it safe?"
Is it safe? I know Laurence Olivier, one of the best actors ever. Yes. But no, it's a little dated. It came out in the 70s, 76, but still a movie that I loved.
Yeah, and that's one thing that everybody seems to be saying throughout the festival, that with film, it's timeless, and no matter what film is made, it reaches or strikes a chord throughout every generation.
Yeah, I think it's well, like I said. I mean, if you're not inspired by movies, you shouldn't be in the business. It's a very hard business to kind of survive in. I know I've been very lucky, and I've survived 3 decades now. But there's lean years occasionally. But I don't know. I think if you're not having fun doing what you do, it just becomes just so much harder to get through the day. So I just kind of I found a way of turning a hobby into a career. Is really what and that'd be my advice to anybody is just do what you love and try to find a way to make it pay.
Yeah, and on that subject, Unleashing Mr. Darcy has gotten a lot of success. Tell us about that project.
We did well, I'm in this phase right now where I'm directing a lot of Lifetime Hallmark TV movies. So if you're a Hallmark TV movie fan, likely you've seen one of my movies. And I did this cross between Pride and Prejudice and dogs, basically. In January, it was a film called Unleashing Mr. Darcy, and it aired in January, 3 million viewers, and it broke a network record for social media response, 47 million tweets, which I was kind of staggered by. But there's just proves that there's a lot of dog lovers in the world, I think. But it was a good movie, good romance, and it was fun, and it's got dogs. How can you lose? It was good.
Yeah, it has a little bit of everything for everyone, just about.
Yep. So, and then right now I'm working on. I'm always doing Christmas movies. Seems like I'm always, and they're never in December. It's always July. So, we're working on a couple more Christmas movies. We just finished one with Tim Reed and Michelle Morgan from Heartland. It's called The Rooftop Christmas Tree. It's really sweet, and it comes out obviously in December sometime. All of the networks started running just Christmas movies every night in December. It's become this trend. So us filmmakers are cashing in on it because it creates a lot of work for us. But yeah, so I'm just busy doing that.
Well, we were just talking to multi-Remy Award-winning David Winning from Canada. Thank you for the interview, David.
Thank you, sir.
I am here with Sergio Basso from Italy. He's the director for Elementary Love that we just saw, Amor Elementare. So tell us about your film.
It's a film about love and childhood, so the appearance of the feeling, the sentiment of love for the first time in the human spirit through the story and the adventures of 6 friends, 6 children that are our main characters. They play hockey and do figure skating, and they have to travel to Moscow to recover a medal, a special medal. Though I don't want to anticipate too much about the story.
Yeah, and here at Worldfest, there were so many different types of films and the way they were filmed and actually processed. And I know with your film, there's a lot of animation. Could you explain it to us about that process?
Yeah, it has to do with my personal experience and with the theme of the film itself. As for the personal experience, I love animation. I had done some animation before. I come from the documentary, and I used the animation in order to tell some stories about some characters in some controversial documentaries. There were, for example, I shot a documentary about the Chinese community in Milan, and one of the characters was a grasshopper of the police, a witness, undercover. So we had to kind of transfigure his whereabouts and his actual aspect, to cover his identity. And animation was the right path to do it. And then when we were writing this film, we decided we wanted to use the imagery of the children. We want to use the fantasy. We want to catch up, so to speak. We want to brush up in our memory the way we thought of things when we were children. And animation was the more than perfect. It was the normal way of resolving some functions, some narrative functions of the story.
Right. And the film was brilliantly filmed because I saw a lot of sequences about Russia, several languages that the children spoke. Tell us about that process.
Oh, it was a mess. Because one of the first co-production with Russia. So it has been a wonderful professional opportunity. And we had double crew, both from the technical point of view and from the professional point of view and actors' point of view. So the dialogues, as you mentioned, were both in Italian and Russian. Sometimes children had to to switch to a language during the dialogue, what is exactly what happens in everyday life in the US, but it's not so frequent in Italian. In Italy, we are a sort of recent multicultural society. We are still learning how to deal with a child born in China, come to Italy with Chinese parents, but with Italian schooling. So more probably, this kind of child will use Italian for his or her emotional life in order to disclose his or her feelings to a partner, and will switch to Chinese in order to quarrel with parents, for example, or with some relatives, right? And we try to respect this multilingualism, multiculturalism in the film. I think it accounts for the situation of society in Italy and in Europe nowadays. And moreover, it accounts for the flexibility of the brain of children. They are just sponge-like.
And how was your experience like working with all these kids? Because they were all very talented in these roles and very natural.
I come from theater. I adore to work with actors. I adore the process of molding their interpretation of the role, working with them, trying to extract their potential talents. I adore this facet of the work. It doesn't tire me. I think it's my job. So, I mean, it's what I like. So, it's not tiresome. It's not tiring. And secondly, I think the casting process is one of the most important facets of making a film. You must invest a lot of time, of course, longer time than shooting itself. When you have the proper cast, shooting is a snap of fingers. Really, it's your bread and butter. And so we invested a lot of time, kind of 2 years, looking for children. We had some problems because at the beginning we found some, the proper ones, the right ones, but at the end of 2 years, maybe they had grown up, and we had problems. It was a sort of from that point of view, it was a sort of vicious circle. The virtuous part of this circle was that the children helped us to write the dialogues and to mold the characters as well, to portray the characters as well, because they told us, what did you want to say with this dialogue, with this line? Okay, because it doesn't fit my mouth, I would say it that way. So they taught us how to write the characters, and we rehearsed the whole script in sequence before shooting, which is something that in the cinematography industry you almost never have the time to do. And the house of production, the CSC production, very kindly allowed me this span of time. But it was a wonderful investment, because in this way I could show the children the arc of the characters, all the relationships. They tested them, and then they could sense the superpower, so to speak, the talents of the neighbor, of the young actor in front. So they sensed they could be a team, and they realized that by being a team, they could build a better film.
And I'm here at Worldfest International 2016 in Houston, Texas, with a talented writer, actor, and director, Arun Chidambaran. Thank you very much for being here.
Thanks much. The pleasure is mine.
And we just saw Dream Factory, which was very colorful, very well acted. So tell us what first inspired you for this film.
Well, actually, basically, the biggest inspiration was the power outage in India. So when I wanted to make a movie, I wanted to make a movie basically like a science-based inspirational entertainer. So I thought so what this innovation is going to be, or what this invention is going to be about. So basically, what happens is whenever you narrate a story, the story would be a big hit only if the audience can connect well with the story. So, and it's that it's at that point I decided like like the power outage was a major issue in India. So why not I make a movie on that so that like people can connect well with the movie. And then it all started by that and here we are. And by the way, I did a lot of research into this movie like before making this movie. So a lot of research has been done for more than a year and a half, and then the script was well made.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I noticed about this film too, with many films from India, is the use of color. Could you explain to us a little bit about the use of color with the scientific experiments that the character was using throughout the film?
Yes, for sure. So basically, I always loved science, but I'm not a great student of science. That's the true fact. But the thing is, I did not study like these things, the way I thought I could have studied. So I thought, and I always wondered, science is always fun, especially the chemistry part of it. It's always fun. But the schools in India don't teach that way. So I thought, why don't I pull in this and attract the kids by saying, science is always fun. It's not something which you should be afraid of and, and just go behind. So that's how this one came up, this idea came up. And usually in India, we use a lot of colors, and the movie should be like colorful. So that's the way I was brought up. So that's what you see on the movie.
Yeah, and I noticed all the children that were very involved throughout this film. How was it like working with all these kids?
Well, working with kids is always fun, but at the same time, it's time consuming. So basically, they won't work on your schedule or on your time. So basically, you got to work with their convenience. So you go their way and just make it happen. And the magic happens actually. The kids are really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was asked before what it is about this film that I like the most, with despite the language barrier. What do you think it is about your film that will translate across many cultures, many languages?
Yeah, so basically the thing is decentralization. So basically, you need not be dependent upon everything for on the government part or someone else to do the job. So what you basically want to do is you solve your own problems. So my idea is if every individual in this world starts solving their own problems, just imagine how great this world would be. So that's the idea, and I'm sure I'm very positive that this message will connect well with the audience worldwide.
Yeah, and congratulations on the Remy Award. What does it feel like to now have that?
Well, it's been really very inspirational for me, actually speaking. This has given a lot of confidence for me and my team, to move forward. So this is just a start, but it's really very inspirational to also and encouraging to also know that this Remy Award was the first award for Steven Spielberg, Ang Lee, George Lucas, everyone. So basically, I never worked with anyone. I just learned cinema by watching cinema, and this is really very encouraging, an encouraging thing for a youngster like me who quit his lucrative job from US and returned back to India to follow his passion in cinema, and then I come here back with my movie to win a Remy Award. That's really a big blessing, I would say, and it's a big team effort as well.
Well, congratulations on the award and welcome to Houston.
That's great. Thanks so much. I look forward to come here again and again. And I would really like to thank the entire team of Worldfest. It has been really very very great, especially Todd and Kathleen. They have been doing a tremendous job. I know what pain it really takes to to organize a festival of this grand, and they are running into the 49th year, and next year it is going to be the 50th. If you don't have patience, perseverance, and a lot of passion, you can't do such a stuff. That's amazing. Hats off to them.
And I'm here with Gaurav Seth of Canada for his film Prisoner X here at Worldfest International in Houston, Texas for 2016. Could you tell us about your film?
Yeah, Prisoner X is a science fiction thriller, science fiction psychological thriller. It's about this a time-traveling terrorist who arrives just a few months after September 11. So you can imagine the charged atmosphere in which he arrived, and it's a story of the CIA agent who interrogates this terrorist to figure out what exactly his motivations are and why he's here and who he is and whether he is from the future as he claims to be. So that's what this sci-fi indie is about.
And I've noticed a lot of productions in Canada that take place specify science fiction or at least dabble a lot in that. Could you tell us what is it about that genre that makes it so special and unique for Canadians?
Well, I think science fiction is a very interesting genre because it allows us as directors, as writers, to put our characters in unique dramatic situations which you might not be able to do it in a straight off drama. Like for example, in my movie, the protagonist is a woman, a CIA agent, who is interrogating this person who she doesn't know is from the future or not, but is experiencing these weird hallucinations, and she suspects that he is doing it to her because we know that he has certain, futuristic devices in his body. We don't know what they are for. And she's going through this weird hallucinations and everything and stuff like that and dealing with issues with her past. Now, this is a very unique situation which science fiction allows us to explore. Someone seeing hallucinations of a person long past, or seeing things where there are none, and being paranoid and stuff like that. And so I think the genre is very attractive to filmmakers because of these possibilities, and just exploring the human condition through science fiction, which can be very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And so tell us about your other projects coming up after Prisoner X.
Actually, there's another science fiction thriller that I'm working on, and that's also kind of interesting because it explores certain issues about the afterlife via science fiction. And so again, I feel that that's a great opportunity to use, conduct an intelligent conversation with the audience about existential issues like our fears, paranoia, which is the subject of Prisoner X, or the afterlife, which is the subject of my next movie. And so I think, again, dabbling into this science fiction and psychological thriller genre is something that I really, find very interesting, and that's what my next movie will be about.
Time is not what it seems, Carmen. Time is nothing.
This world is like a dream, Cartman. Are you ever surprised in a dream?
Russia's been hit. Moscow, half a megaton.
What is it?
It's not a bomb or a weapon.
You can't change the past, but you can create a new one.
I think Abraham has an agent inside Sandbox.
Find the mole agent, Reese, and quickly.
You're out of your mind.
How can we wait when the weapon we're up against is time itself?
Time-traveling terrorist. That doesn't sound scary at all.
Paranoia. It's the greatest weapon there is.
And I'm here at Worldfest 2016 in Houston, Texas with Edo Natasha, a filmmaker originally from Indonesia and now in the United States. So welcome to Houston.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No problem. And also congratulations on your film being nominated for a Remy Award here at Worldfest, Popolo, which is a very interesting film based off of the trailer. Could you tell me about the process of making this film?
Well, it started when me was the assistant director for a play called King Hedley II. I literally just got back from Afghanistan, and then I just want to go back and I just gonna take any job, and assistant directing position was open. So I come in 2 weeks a little bit late because they already start rehearsing, and guess who was my lead actor at that time? It was Quante Love. He happened to be a filmmaker. He's been in LA for 20 years. I am the rookie one from the filmmakers, no background, no film school, nothing whatsoever. So we just talked, and I told him my dream. My dream was to be a filmmaker, and since I have to find a way to stay in the United States, so that's why I joined the military. And since that story, both of us decided let's shoot a film together in Hawaii using Hawaii talent, Hawaii actors, Hawaii cast, and Hawaii related story. And there you go. That's the birth of our project right now, Popolo, and that was 2012.
Wow. So the process was quite long for you, and I know you went through a lot just to make it to the United States. And your experience, I know, in Hawaii has been excellent too, because a lot of your talent is from Hawaii. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we start writing 2012. The reason the process was that long, believe it or not, is one is all of the logistics because action film we have to find like the right locations, and then we have to find the right people. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of talented actors, but because we want to make sure that it's great and the chemistry works, we approach a lot of actors and then try to give them the script and then try a lot of things and see the right fit, and of course convincing a lot of people that yes we can do it, and, raising the finance and all that stuff. But as far as like the process itself, it's been, I would say it's been supportive. In the beginning, of course, it's pretty controversial because, as Quanta explained, what's the name of the title of Apollo. But once people reading the script and people understand what we are trying to do, and once they are educated that it means blackberry because that's what it is, and it's a medicine, and they understand what the message is. They fall in love with it and they love it, and people have been supporting us. So it was great. It was really great.
Yeah, and just reading the synopsis, the character that Conte plays is Apollo, who basically is going to Hawaii to fulfill the dream of his friend. And then he faces all these different adversities without giving too much about the film away. So tell me how welcoming the island was as far as like starting the production.
Well, the production was smooth, and then we actually, how does this? We do a private screening for our cast and crew family member. It was a 450 seated, and it was sold out. So the fact that the cast and crew was excited about it, that's a really huge morale boost for us. And then we premiere it in San Diego. That's our first world premiere. San Diego, LA, London, and then we come back to Hawaii, and that's now an official premiere for Hawaii for the public, and another sold out house. Like then the whole theater got filled. Some people actually come in and stand. They don't mind to stand and watch the theater. It's been great. They've been very they've been loving the movies. It's very close to their heart because now they see. They see themselves and they see the location that they recognize and the island and on a big screen. I think there's something magical about it, especially like if you grew up over here and then you see it on a screen and it's an action sequences. Like you're like, oh, I know that place, and suddenly, wow, it looks completely different in film. So yeah.
Yeah, so it sounds like the island was very supportive of you being the filmmaker. And I know in a conversation we had earlier, you mentioned that this is, I guess, one of the first big films from Hawaii.
Yes, this is one of the first independent film festival that tackle action film too. And so far we are blessed enough to get awarded internationally, best feature film and best drama. So it was great. And then recently we just got awarded for best director and best lead actor in North Carolina. So it's been a great, and we've been very blessed in that sense.
All right, change of plan. SOCOM wants to rendition the target, so we're going in. And I want full noise discipline, no weapons fire.
Hope SOCOM know what they're doing.
Come on, let's go!
Teach me how to do that move.
What move?
We're gonna put up a fighting gym, right? What is it? Kung Fu? Taekwondo?
Would you like to come to our establishment? My treat, as long as you recommend it to your friends and clients.
Your sister, she's barely make it home. Something that we could have done.
No matter how fast or far you run, you'll only catch up to yourself. Watch, Don.
Hey, Popolo, you're not thinking about...
We did things in combat that we gotta live with.
You can create your own destiny. We can do it together. We can make our own. I don't know how.
Can men like us ever just quit?
Take my chances.
It is time!
You can't stop me!
Try.
Really?
And I'm here at Worldfest 2016 in Houston, Texas, with a talented actor, writer, and producer of the film Popolo, Kuante Love. Welcome to Houston.
Thank you very much.
No problem. And I was reading some very interesting information about Popolo, that you got the Best Lead Actor Award. It had the Best Screenplay Award. So tell us about the film.
The film is about a special forces service. What is it? A special forces officer comes to Hawaii to fulfill his friend's dream of opening up an MMA gym. And what happens is what he has to go through when he meets the local people and the different situations he finds himself in and out of because of the fact that he's an African American. That causes a little bit of stir because Popolo in Hawaii is the word that he used for black. That's what they call African Americans, Popolo. However, it is a blackberry that is used for medicine. So Popolo is actually the base of all medicine on the island. So we decided to name the film Popolo because of that reason. He's like a medicine man. Wherever he goes, he heals the community, and at the same time, the community starts healing him. So it's very indicative of the word that they use for African Americans is medicine, and our character's a medicine man. So that's basically what the story is about, how he gets in and out of situations.
Okay. Well, that's very interesting because I know the character you play, Apollo, I figured it was a nickname. And I know Hawaii is a very multicultural island. So tell us how that experience was like filming in Oahu.
Well, there's a lot of art in Hawaii. I mean, there's a lot of actors over there. So to get the actors, it wasn't that bad. But they have a little different way of doing things in Hawaii, which made it a little bit easier for us to film in Hawaii because we didn't have to get any of the permits. We didn't have to get a lot of things that you would normally have to get on the mainland. So that made it so much easier for us to film there.
And how were the Hawaiian people? Because I know they're very supportive of the film, and there were a lot of local Hawaiians that took part in the film. So tell me about that.
Well, the people were very surprised because no one expected the film to do what it's doing. No one. And we cast locally, we crew locally because we wanted to represent the talent from Hawaii. So everything is done in Hawaii about Hawaiians to uplift the talent and the independent filmmakers of Hawaii.
Yeah, very inspirational. And also I was reading too that this film also was has no restrictions on the set. So you were saying that you didn't have to get permission or permits of that nature. What about like other incentives like with the local talent there?
Well, the best incentive is everyone are actors. There's over 8 theaters on the island. Therefore, everyone we cast was already an actor. So we didn't have to do much directing. Everyone got their role, got their character, and they brought their characters to life, just like you would do in theater. And everyone says, well, you can't take a theater actor and put him in front of a screen because they're so big and there's this. No. They're trained and they're professional and they know how to break a character down and bring that character to life, opposed to a regular actor. We would have to coach them way more, and we would have to take more time out, and we didn't have the time, as Edo was a first-time director, so we had a quick shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, and with your experience as an actor, what is it about this film that you learned that you didn't know before?
You know, working with people and on an island that uses the word popolo as a derogatory term, you have to overcome a form of racism that you weren't prepared for. I just came to do a film and shoot a film. However, some of the little quirks we had to deal with, you know, casting or location, those are the things that I didn't expect. But it worked out much better because it was easier than the mainland once again.
And so now that you did this film, what is next for you?
We are talking, well, I wrote a book. However, we're doing the sequel. We're on an island, so we can have like a continuous sequel from Popolo and just cast locally and keep casting locally. And I think the next thing we're going to do is definitely a sequel and see where that takes us.
And I'm here at the Doubletree Greenway Plaza Hotel at Worldfest 2016 with talented actor, writer, and director Rafael Schettino. Welcome to Houston.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And we were here to talk about his film, El Mundo Mágico, The Magic World. And it was a beautiful film. Could you tell us a little bit about the film and the character you played?
Yes, the film was shot in 2015, and he talks about a story of 40s after the Second World War. It talks about a man that comes out deserted, really, from the war. And then he was hidden for a period in the north of Italy. And after the armistice in 43, he decided to come back to his family. But during his staying at the Node, he was falling in love with a girl, Teresa. And before leaving, he promised her to marry. But when he came back to his family in the south, he take the old relation with Tina, his girl he was with before leaving, and they decided to marry. Teresa wrote him the girl from the note. She wrote several letters, but he never answered her because he don't know. He doesn't know. He didn't know what he can write. And Teresa, we discovered in the first part that has some magical powers in sense that in the sense of the rural world that has all these ancient rituals, the ancient capacities of knowing a human being, you know. And when she discovered that he has a big relation with the old girl before leaving, she go to the south and take a malediction. The magic word talk about the malediction in the sense not of a magic sense that is abstracted, some spiritual, but to talk about the rural, the ancient world of rituals. And we do it by songs that comes from oral tradition. And we use in the film all the key of the film really is that we use all people that are not actor, but they are directly linked with these traditions. So, for example, in the north of Italy, we use the duo of the Lega di Cultura. That is the place where Gianni Bosio is an ethnomusician and anthropologist from the north of Italy that took a lot of research since 50 years about oral traditions and rituals. And he continued really the tradition of Ernesto De Martino, that is an anthropological researcher, very important in Italy. The name Il Mondo Magico recalls to his book. In the narrative, we act musicians or people of the place that are not directly actors, but as the spontaneity and capacity of singing this old song. So in the south of Italy, where there is the La Banda della Posta, is called, that is a group of Vinicio Capossela, that is very important musician in Italy, that revalorizate all this, this richness that we have. And so in the third part, because after the malediction, he will have a death son with his wife. And they move to Umbria after the war, after liberation, because he work in the police. And this is another aspect that we cover in the movie, that is the social and political level.
Thank you for watching Worldfest International 2016 in Houston, Texas, the 49th annual. Be sure to catch us at the 50th annual next year in 2017. Reporting for Houston Media Source, I'm Rajo Palomino. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.